The first impression I had about Roland is one that I think continues to this day, and it's about somebody who deeply cares about community, about making sure that the world is a better world, not only for the LGBT community, but for everyone.
I think what drives him to do this work is just because of the life that he lived and the things that we experienced as children and coming to the United States.
I believe that he comes from an activist, from a political father who paid the ultimate price fighting for freedom in his home country.
There's great sacrifices that his family has made, beginning with his father, who was a revolutionary in Guatemala. He was a journalist, and he helped organize people to demand human rights and liberties in Guatemala. His sacrifice was a costly one. He ended up being assassinated, and his mother then came to the United States with her 5 children.
She saved a lot of money and worked a lot to bring us all here. And one of the stories that I remember from my mom was that when she would clean the bathtubs at the houses, she would write with the foam, she would write our names, and that's how she could remember us. And it's just, I always remember that story, and it's a story that I will pass on to my children and my grandchildren.
The struggle for liberation is in his DNA.
You know, that comes from his father and comes from his mother, and if you know his mom, who's a nurse, I mean, you see this passion and commitment to serve others.
You know, he's not a single issue person. He's run an HIV for many years. He was the chief operating officer, kept the place going. His founding of Honor PAC, Clinic Oscar Romero, his founding of Gay and Lesbian Latinos Unidos, Aviva, his coalition work, even his work in philanthropy when he was at the California Endowment. He made sure that grants got out the door. Lots of work serving youth. You know, I mean, this is a guy, the scope of his work is so broad that it would have to be a passion for justice and a hunger for learning and for service to humanity. I mean, you know, he's never been in it for him.
You know, what I've learned from Roland is that you can be incredibly successful in what you do and still focus on others and make an impact, and that you stay humble, and that you stay committed, and that you stay focused on something greater than ourselves.
I see him as my hero and as an angel that works in many different ways and helps people in a huge way.
One single act is very hard for me to isolate because it's really a lifetime of work that is marked by vision of social justice, the fact that people have more in common than they do differences. Often it's the commonalities that get forgotten in our movements because we're so busy getting our own pride together for our own group that we forget how much we have in common, and he always looks for the connections.
My son called me and asked me if I could co-sign with him for a loan to go to college, to the fine art school, and I didn't qualify. I couldn't qualify. My son Sergey called Ronnie, and Ronnie co-signed with him and helped him with the loan. And so now Sergey was able to go to college because of that. And that's just what Ronnie does. He doesn't think about it. He just does it. He does what needs to be done.